You've hit play on the Screen Companion, where we'll help you pick something for movie night. We're here talking more remakes. The Fly from 1958, and the remake, also called The Fly, from 1986. Andrew, would you set up Vincent Price's The Fly for us?
Fly 58 opens with a dude finding a dead body in a pneumatic press, a giant one, and he calls the shop owner of all people, and it's his brother who was murdered, and they're trying to figure out why his wife did it. Eventually it becomes a flashback as to the events leading up to his crushing in the press because he became a fly man.
Madame, would you tell us what happened?
Of course, monsieur. I killed my husband, André Delambre, about half an hour ago in the hydraulic press shed.
You understand the gravity of the crime. You say you killed your husband. That means you murdered him.
I killed André, yes.
Why?
I cannot answer that question.
How did you kill him?
With the hydraulic press?
How do you operate it?
First you put on the main switch. Then you set the stroke to whatever tonnage you want. You set the stroke to maximum, that is level with the table, or 0. Then you press the release button. It's the red one.
You mean you put your husband under the press?
No, Inspector, he did that himself.
He put his head and his arm under the press.
Yes.
Why?
I cannot answer that question. Coffee, Inspector?
Now, Madame, you were happy with your husband.
There were no mistresses. I had no lovers. We were both very happy. That is the truth.
Then why did you kill him?
I wish to help you all I can, Inspector. But I cannot answer that question.
Ian, from a directing standpoint, suppose they hired you to shoot the script, which is locked in, you can't change the script. But other than that, what's the first thing on your mind? Is it how you'd do the effects, who you'd cast, or something else?
I would be excited that I got the opportunity, but then I would just try to think of ways to shoot this in a way that would distract from the things I didn't like in the script and make it more of like a mood piece. And I think I would probably be wanting to shoot from the POV of the Fly. Our main characters become a fly man. They reveal that like way at the end, but I would probably want to shoot like once he transitions into these two states. I think it would have been cool to show a perspective of that fly, like witnessing everything that's going on and maybe trying to talk to the characters and everyone's just trying to bat him away and stuff. As far as the VFX goes, I'm guessing your question, I'm in this time period as well, right? I wouldn't have had the option to do CGI or anything.
Correct.
I probably would just have sent the sketches to the VFX team. So yeah, I would have definitely focused on like how can I elevate this with the shooting style, because there's some things about the script that I would not have wanted to put in but would be forced to.
Do you remember many Dutch angles in this?
No.
It was so flat.
Yeah, the shooting style of this definitely reflects this time period because it feels like theater. I want to say, yeah, around this period, although I think there were more films doing more innovation before this, but you see this in a lot of very old films. They're shot from a perspective that feels like you're watching a play. And all the actors seem to be acting in a theatrical way as well. You're this passive viewer. They do cut to close-ups for dramatic effect here and there, but mostly it's these very flat compositions, wide shots, people come into frame, leave frame, cuts to another one. It feels like a play.
John, what else do you think feels particularly 50s about the film? And do you think there's anything that feels like a plus versus modern movies?
I've noticed a lot of those old horror movies, the third act is almost entirely monster reveal, and this feels the same. The whole movie is the lead up to, it's got a fly for a head. Yeah, that's the big payoff.
That was the big payoff in the Cronenberg version, too.
Yeah, but he definitely got...
he's got a big fly head.
Yeah, but he definitely got some of that good old Cronenberg body horror going on long before the reveal. I remember watching all those old horror movies with my dad, and it was just like, it's just this boring movie, and then boom, monster, and then that's it.
And then just when you kind of get into it, it's over.
Just when it starts to get going.
So should I just put in chirping crickets as far as good stuff from that time period compared to how we make them now?
No. Because there's some good heart and emotion, plus Vincent Price. Come on, it's Vincent Price. Everybody loves Vincent Price.
But in this movie, I love the idea of Vincent Price. It's his cachet I love, but his actual performance in this is pretty milquetoast.
He probably had better things to do. Going back to the shot like a play comment, it was probably done quickly on a budget. Just we'll do wide shots and call it a day.
Like Hitchcock had already released a bunch of movies at this point, and he was not doing that. So it was definitely an option. It's not like no one had ever thought of it when they were shooting this. I think you're right. We need to shoot this within a month or within a week.
Shoot it before child labor laws happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the movie feels undercooked in a 50s, 60s Hollywood elitist way. Like, what were the most looked down upon genres back then? Sci-fi and horror. And The Fly falls right in the middle of them. They were B pictures meant for the drive-ins. After the initial wave of Universal monster movies, I don't think horror hit another high until the 70s. There's a great first draft in this version that didn't get subsequent rewrites because all they cared about was good enough.
It's a creature feature. Look at our Monster of the Week, and we have Vincent Price. Enough said.
Or maybe because we hadn't seen bangers like The Thing or The Exorcist yet, they rested their case after a few gags and said, hardly anyone climbs this mountain range of sci-fi and horror. There's no use in putting extra effort into reaching that next peak. As a sci-fi fan, I'm so glad I wasn't a teen watching movies in the 50s.
You'd have been making out with your lady in the back of your Chevy.
Yes, and then the sheriff would see me miscegenating and they would throw me in prison.
Yeah, you go to prison for a long time.
Bad 50s movies are the least of your worries now, boy. Become an active listener by joining the Screen Companion. Subscribe on YouTube, hit us up on X, and our Facebook group. Let us know your favorite episodes and what topics or films we should tackle next. Further support the host by buying his novel, Self-Recognition, a futuristic detective story, available on Amazon in print and digital formats. Now back to the show. Andrew, does the science make sense to you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the science makes sense. Everything I know about teleportation machines, it makes sense. What was interesting, in all seriousness, I guess, about how it was described was it sounded pretty much exactly how the transporter works in Star Trek, where it breaks it down, transfers it over, and reassembles it. That's all I really needed to know. When he first did the experiment and then the writing on the plate, it went backwards, I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Okay, whatever, he's working out the kinks. And then when he teleported the cat with the milk saucer, I'm thinking like, okay, I know the premise of the movie. He transports with a fly and turns into a man-fly / fly man. Am I about to get some big horror twist and have this unholy cat milk saucer creation fuses? And no. Well, what the hell is this? And then the cat's just in the ether.
It's a ghost cat.
Yeah, which was honestly... I shouldn't have laughed, but god damn it, it was funny.
Oh, it was very funny.
I laughed. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so at that point I remember thinking like, oh, the movie's not following its own rules. What I thought the rules were, and then at one point the lead guy, Andre, he was just like, honestly, I don't even know how it works yet. And I was like, alright, all the rules are out the window. I didn't care anymore. It was an unbelievable thing that I feel like they could explain how it worked. That's how it would work if we could actually create it. It's just getting to that point.
His description to his wife, it held up pretty well. I think especially for the time, the way that he described it, oh, this is how your TV signal gets reassembled on your TV, and then when she's like, oh, this is different because this is solid, and he's like, well, but it looks solid, but it's not. That probably blew some minds when this came out. Of all the pieces of dialogue in this, that one actually held up pretty well for me. But then, yeah, it doesn't explain why the cat is a floating voice and there's no saucer.
A lot of sci-fi, you have to minimize all the science mumbo-jumbo. So they did a really good job of cutting through all that red tape.
Without it feeling too explainy, it was like an earned moment of explanation because he has to explain to this wife character. I felt like it fit in place there. It didn't feel like lazy writing to me.
The first live experiment was disastrous. Dandelion.
Dandelo? Andre, how could you?
She disintegrated perfectly, but never reappeared. I don't know why, even now. I redesigned the projecting device, and now it's perfect.
Well, where's she gone?
Into space. A stream of cat atoms. It'd be funny if life weren't so sacred.
Andre, promise me one thing. No more experiments with animals.
I got excited when the cat disappeared and we heard it meow. Because I thought maybe they would go in a Lovecraftian direction, because I'm like, where's the cat? How can you still hear it? I want to see a squid monster come through the gate, you know?
Or it could have, like, shown up in his dreams. The cat's just, like, in every dream now, like, haunting him.
Dude, that would have been so awesome.
The source of his madness. It's just this cat.
Yeah.
The spectral cat. Meow, you've transported me.
The cat's behind everything. The final shot could have been the cat laughing maniacally.
The cat's the villain.
Ian, are there moments that work well in spite of the technical limitations?
One thing I was very impressed with was the actual fly work, the live fly that they were shooting. You can tell that it is a real fly, and to think that they were able to choreograph these scenes and have the fly land in the right place, in focus, and stay long enough to get a shot. They must have had a ton of flies on set, but I can't imagine how difficult that was to pull off. I bet they shot a lot. A lot of these scenes do feel like one-take things.
Doesn't sound like a compliment.
Yeah, right.
It's not, but it's like maybe they were just saving film stock to shoot these sequences, because getting an insect to do what you want it to do, it's not as easy as it is in the movie where they're like, oh, let's just pour sugar on the table and fly will land there. It does not work like that. I would like to read up on this and see how long it actually took them to do that. And that's actually when I was starting to get into the movie, is them just trying to catch the fly. I actually found myself like, oh, come on, it's right there. That stuff worked really well. The fly itself, the real fly in the fly, great stuff.
Best actor in the film.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's so genuine, right? The fly doesn't know he's acting, he's just being a real fly.
Yeah.
It brought some reality to the movie, yeah.
This was his big break, and he wasn't going to drop the ball.
Yeah. The only white-headed fly in Hollywood.
My time has come.
Also, I'm wondering, the white head on the fly, did they actually have their makeup department paint a fly? No way that was done in post. I guess they could have rotoscoped it back then, but that would be a really good job if that's how it was done. That was just a really impressive sequence.
That felt like a cheat when they painted the fly's head. I think they did just paint the tip of it white with maybe a Q-tip or something. Because the way they do the human fly thing at the end looked all right. I felt cheated when it's just the fly with the white tip. I wanted that fly to actually somebody to make a little tiny mask, a little Lego piece, and put it on the fly's head that looked like a man's head. That would have been awesome.
Okay, so was it supposed to be his head was there all along and they just weren't looking close enough? Or he is going through some kind of transformation when we see that final shot? I was very confused by that.
I kind of just thought it was a transformation, only because we see the fly with the white dot on its head a number of times where it's just a fly with a white dot on its head. I kind of just assumed that it was the transformation, and unfortunately, his transformation was finishing around a time a spider was barreling towards him, so he got to see that with human eyes up close, and I'd like to think that he was just morphing slowly. The man-fly was losing his will and everything, and, he's wearing clothes, so maybe there's other stuff happening under the clothes that we just weren't seeing, and he was morphing more and more, so I just thought it started as a white dot.
Okay, so you're sure the director, went through that train of thought. Okay, both are going through a long, slow metamorphosis. You're giving a lot of benefit of the doubt, which maybe we should be doing, because they did have a lot of limitations when making this. I took it that the head was supposed to be there from the beginning, because they have this line where this kid goes like, "That was the greatest fly I ever saw," when the kid finds it earlier. And the fact that it's a white head, I don't know if that's supposed to be because he's a white guy. So he had a white head, but no one was just looking at the fly close enough to see, oh, that's a human head on there because it's so small. I feel like that's what they were reaching for, but I hope you're right that that's what was actually supposed to be going on. But I'm not convinced either way.
He kept trying to escape. If he's in charge of his mental faculties as a little human fly, wouldn't he try and stick around and reverse the process?
That's where the metaphoresis thing comes in, right? Because he...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. It's just like he... Oh, okay. I thought you were arguing with me and I was ready to throw down.
I mean, I'd still argue with you, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Ding, ding, ding. Round one, fellas. Let's do it.
Okay, never mind. John's right.
If he had human brain from the get-go, he'd be like, all right, I gotta go back down to big fly body, and we gotta go through this process. But, yeah, no, I agree. I think it's metamorphosis.
Well, the fly man is mostly man. The scientist, the full-scale one. He's mostly in charge of his mental faculties, so maybe the opposite is true for the man-fly. So maybe the fly's brain is mostly in control. Maybe we should read the book. Maybe it's really described in detail in the book.
It's exactly 1/3 man.
Yeah.
I like Andrew's explanation. Any way to fill in one of these numerous plot holes I'm seeing. However, I think I do agree with Ian ultimately. What the movie was trying to go for is that it was a man with a fly head. Visually, it looks like a fly head, but it's still the man inside. And then the fly, the little thing, was still a fly, but it was supposed to have had a human-looking head. So when he gets crushed at the very, very end, I figured that was the fly talking, and not that it was a little tiny Andre speaking, because he died already.
And then he gets inexplicably smushed, by the way. I didn't understand why.
Yeah, they murdered him.
Just this is some weird shit.
Yeah. They're like, okay, do we just straight up kill him or watch him begging for help in the most classic movie line ever? The detective's response is like, murder.
He's part of the United States police force, so that is generally their go-to move.
Is he?
No, I think it was supposed to be in Montreal.
Yeah, he's very French.
Oh!
Everyone was French. Like, oh, Francois.
Because the original story is French.
Francois and Andre. And then it's Inspector, and he's just like, oh ho ho ho.
Yeah, of course. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was a bit confused why there were so many French people.
The kid had wine for breakfast.
He put water in it. It was like a mimosa.
Yeah, little kid. What, his little kid mimosa for breakfast, and then halfway through the meal he got sexist about his mom?
You know how women are.
Yeah, exactly.
That made me laugh so hard.
Who the f*** is this kid?
That felt like a weird detail. Why did they keep them French? Just make them Americans.
Yeah. Speaking of the kid being the weirdest kid in the world, I do want to talk about the ending. I found that the most dumbfounding of anything in the movie. We have these three key characters. One is the brother of the scientist, one is the wife of the scientist, one is the son of the scientist, and he's just died. Like, literally just died yesterday. They're all like, let's go get ice cream. What a beautiful day. This kid has just found out his dad's dead. They've been lying to him, like, your dad's coming home soon, which is also fucked up. And then he's just like, so he's dead? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, well, how did he die? Oh, he was a hero for science. He's like, that's great. I want to be like that. Let's go get ice cream. This kid is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
They really go for this happy ending. It's like the producer's like, just make the ending happy. And they're like, yeah, but all this fucked up stuff's happened. He's like, no one will care. Put him outside. Make the birds chirp. That was maybe the darkest part of the movie for me, was the way no one cared about this central death.
Do flies live a long time?
I don't know. Why?
Because I saw that fly Mommy was looking for again.
Oh, I didn't know your mother was looking for one.
Oh, yes, she was. It's grown quite a lot, but I recognized it all right.
How did you recognize it, Willie?
Its head is white instead of black, and it has a funny sort of lid. It was on your desk this morning.
Oh, I didn't notice it. When did you first see that fly, Philippe?
The day Daddy went away, I had caught it, but Mommy made me let it go. And then later, she wanted me to find it again. She changed her mind. You know how women are.
Andrew, did you find anything else comical about this movie besides that?
Absolutely.
We don't have enough time for you to do all of them, but give me a couple.
I knew this was going to be hokey going into it. Come on, he turns into a fly, right? Okay.
This was eating your vegetables before you get to do the Cronenberg fly.
I know. It was so cheesy, but I was fine with it. I'm just like, okay, this is classic 50s cheese. I really like these movies. I grew up with these types of films. It was nice to see this movie from a historical perspective. However, the cat going into the ether and meowing at him was really weird. The ending was just Vincent Price. He finds the kid, and the kid's like, oh, I found the fly with the white head. Where is he? And then he goes out, and he's running through the garden, and he's looking for the fly. And then as soon as he sat on the bench, and I can hear the Looney Tunes help me, I thought, oh my god. You know, you see it in the web. I'm like, oh, what a dumbass. He flew right into a spider's web. Because now he's like a man at this point. He's the man fly or fly man. Okay, he got caught, whatever. He was looking for the fly. Then the kid said, I saw the white fly in a spider's web. So instead of going, he knew exactly where the spider's web was going to be. Instead of going and rescuing the fly, he goes upstairs to tell the inspector, follow me. And then they go down. And then...
I love your Vincent Price.
Spot on.
They see this horrifying fly man caught in a web, crying for help, because a good 9 inches away from him is a spider that they allowed to crawl all the way over to him and start to eat him before the inspector just picks up a rock and smashes both of them. It was dumb, but it was necessary to wrap everything up and give them that happy ending, because they had to be able, like Vincent Price had to be able to tell the inspector that, hey, you murdered this guy. And then the inspector's like, okay, it's a suicide, I'll go home. There you go. And then happy ending. It really fell apart so hard from something that was already wacky for it to get even wackier.
What about the opportunity for a happy ending where they just save the fly man there, or man fly, whatever we want to call him, and just go to the kid, hey, you love insects, your dad's an insect now.
How traumatizing would that be?
Right?
As a kid, I think he probably would have preferred that than just like, your dad's just dead. Okay, well, I got some bad news, I got some good news.
It's definitely a glass half full situation.
He seemed just as happy about a dead dad as a dad fly.
Yeah, maybe there's some subtext there. He's an abusive father or something, I don't know.
Uncle?
Yes?
Mommy told me about Daddy. Something. She said to ask you. Why did he die?
Well, Philippe, he died because of his work. He was like an explorer in a wild country where no one had ever been before. He was searching for the truth. He almost found a great truth. But for one instant, he was careless.
That's what killed him?
Search for the truth is the most important work in the whole world, and the most dangerous.
I like that. I'd like to be an explorer like him. Will you help me, Uncle Francois?
Yes, Philippe.
Just like pulling the cat out of the ether, for a moment I'd like to have a special guest appear. Vincent Price. Vincent, tell me, how did you feel about filming that very last speech? Were you conflicted about how happy it came off?
Do it to me, man.
Come on, just try. If it's not good, I won't use it. I don't expect to hold back and forth, but just give me something. I just want to hear you do Vincent Price for like 3 lines.
Oh no. Oh, this is terrible. Once I start thinking...
Oh, come on, it was so good.
It was.
Once I start thinking about it, I can't do it anymore. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay. Please ask the question again.
Vincent, I'm so glad to have you here. It's a special treat. These guys were looking forward to it. Tell me, that last scene that we've been talking about where you're very hopeful and ending the movie on a high note, were you conflicted at all about that scene when you read it on the page?
I was conflicted. But I am an actor and I do it. That's all you're gonna get from me, man.
No, that's good, Vincent. Thank you.
The I was conflicted really got me. That was perfect intonation.
All right, Vincent, you may go back to the afterlife. Yes, even though we have you here, we could ask you what it's like to be dead, but that's not very interesting. We're talking about The Fly.
Yeah. He's gonna go hang out with a cat.
I'm going to say the film came off as low budget, especially when they reused that goddamn shot of the green and blue neon tubes for every activation of the teleporters. How freaking lazy was that? I hope at least the editor recognized it, but of course, he can't shoot any more film than what they give him.
That was probably half the budget was on those tubes. They were going to put it in the damn movie.
It's good set dressing, yeah.
I thought it looked pretty cool the first time, and then it kept popping up.
I think they spent all the budget shooting the fly sequence, the live fly sequence.
Fly, he commands a high price.
Yeah.
They just had the smelliest crew member, some PA. They had him go back into an alley, lift up his arms, and just collect flies in his armpits.
He walked back in like a cowboy. I got him!
John, what do you think is the 1958 Fly's biggest flaw?
Some bad decisions in the writing process. The murder at the end, why did he experiment on himself? Especially with the cat, he knew something was going to go wrong. He didn't know why it went wrong. And his first thought was, well, maybe I should just get in there.
When did he build the human-sized pod? I feel like that should have been set up before. He just goes back in there and suddenly it's like, oh, you have this like much bigger pod now. When did this happen?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like in the basement for weeks on end and the wife is just like making sandwiches for him. I feel like that should have been set up as well.
Just a quick little montage. There's just so many things it skips around with.
I feel like this might have been shot keeping in mind that maybe it will just go direct to TV, so it needs to be able to be edited down to like 20 minutes. And then the rest is just filler in case they do get theatrical release. It felt like a Twilight Zone episode that went on way too long. Content-wise, I think it basically has 15, 20 minutes of actual story events happening on screen, and then the rest is padding, like talking about what's going to happen and what did happen. So
I feel like the set designer had the easiest job. I think if we freeze the frame and watch it in high def, you can almost see the AT&T sticker on those phone booths. I think the biggest issue that crops up constantly is how it tells us what should be shown. We don't get to see Andre go through the booth and turn into the fly. We just see him with that towel on his head. We have a letter read out loud by Helene of that whole affair. It's so great to just see her read it. Awesome. We're told Francois was in love with Helene before she married his brother.
Oh, yeah.
But that never feels like it's part of the story.
Yeah. I thought they were going to kiss right at the end. It looked like they were about to go for it. That never got resolved.
I don't see Francois' interest in the matter being more than familial. That could have been some great drama if he actively tried to replace Andre post-machine press. And we already mentioned that poor cat. But even though Andre explains its disappearance, we still don't get any other way to judge it for ourselves or get any more scares out of it than a disembodied cat.
He kind of like throws it away of like, it happens. Cat's dead.
Didn't care either.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist. I can't explain why we can still hear the cat meow, but whatever.
That's right.
Moving on. Progress.
The wife didn't care either. She's just like, cat's dead, whatever.
What did you do with Dandelo? You can't do that anymore. And then he's like, hey, look, the sacrifice has happened, baby. And she's like, oh, okay.
He's like, yes, you've said the omelet metaphor multiple times.
And then he's like, you're going to have to kill me. And she's like, no. And he's like, no, I mean it. And she's like, oh, okay. Her committing murder, it takes very little convincing. And she keeps going like, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad he's dead. He doesn't really give her any reason to... There's a couple times when his claw looks like it wants to attack her and he's able to grab it down in this, I don't know, cheesy way. But
think of the awful titty twister that claw would have given.
For all you know, that's all it wanted to do was just grab some boob.
He's not shown to be this kind of monster. They never give her a moment to actually really be scared of him in any other way than what he looks like. And maybe that's why she's okay with killing him. She does not mourn him at all. Neither does his son or his brother. I think the movie's trying to tell us this scientist actually was a really terrible human being. We just never get to see it on screen. But that's the subtext.
He was actually a spy for the CIA.
Nice.
Hanging out with his buddy James Bond.
And he's the only actor besides Jeffrey Wright to have played Felix more than once.
Correct. That's the only reason I knew his name, is because he was the first one to do it twice.
Ian, besides the hokey he was searching for a great truth speech by Vincent Price, the ending with the fly in the web and the spider and the help me, does that feel like a strong pop to finish the film if it didn't go on to that other stupid scene?
Maybe if they had just cut right there, the reveal that, oh, so he's also this fly and he's stuck in this web and he's about to get eaten by the... Like, that reveal of that shot, that actually feels like when, if this was a Twilight Zone episode, it would have ended there. I think that would have popped back then. him getting smashed and then just the whole family being totally fine with it and let's go back to normal life took any power that had away from it. So yeah, I would have cut there. That would have been, I guess, decent ending. A little cliffhanger as well.
Maybe they all just broke psychologically because of how horrific it was. Ah! Alright, let's moving on.
I'm sure the inspector did. He just looked like he was going through something at the end.
Yeah.
Sacre bleu, the fly.
Cannot compute. This is too weird. Need things to go back to normal. Smash the weird thing. This is bringing up too many questions. Deeper questions about reality that I do not want to confront.
And then after all that, trying to fall asleep at night, a spectral cat meows at him.
If Cronenberg's Fly didn't exist, and we were the producers of a remake, I'm going to ask each of you to give me one aspect of this original movie you'd flesh out in a sequel or handle differently. Let's start with Andrew.
I would definitely flesh out the intellectual side of it more, only because there are a lot of gaps that we have to fill as an audience, like the transition from fly man to man fly and stuff like that. Although I really thought Andre saying, I don't quite understand how this machine works, I thought that was brilliant. It just doesn't hold water. Why was he a fly man at the end of the movie? They could have taken more time on it. The murder angle was interesting, but once you learn everything that happened, I didn't really care anymore. It's like, you know what? Of course they had to kill him. He was a man-fly.
So this movie left too many unanswered questions buzzing in your head?
Yes, because it just seemed like every time he used the teleporter, it was like, okay, this didn't work, he fixed this problem. You know, how the hell did he solve the cat going into the ether so when he put that guinea pig in there, it was fine?
What would you have changed, Ian, if you were the remake producer? If you were Mel Brooks?
The movie starts with this factory worker, the French guy. I think I would have just gone with making him the main character. Most of the movie is just about his day-to-day life at the whatever this factory is, and then just right near the end, this like man-fly comes in and gets smushed. And then like the final act is just him hearing from the inspector what the hell just happened. I think that would have been a more interesting angle. I kind of wanted to know more about what happens in this factory where this press is. That's what I would have done.
What's your idea, John?
Flyman is coming in sooner, for sure, and I think I'd spend the whole first act actually exploring the relationship of the family so that they give a shit. Opposed to just, oh, he's dead, let's go play cricket, get some ice cream.
We touched on this a little earlier. It did bug me how Andre's sole motive for teleporting himself was hubris. He's supposed to be a brilliant scientist, but he thinks it's a smart move to test it on himself. I'd want a remake to give us a better impetus for him having the accident that turned him into the Fly. Maybe the family business is having Teamster troubles, and the mob comes by the lab and wrecks it, and they shove Andre against his will into the booth, and that's what does it, a la Darkman. Like, imagine a Sam Raimi Fly in the early 90s. That would have been tremendous.
Yeah, dude. But I'd watch it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That'd be great.
And his brother and his wife are secretly communists and are trying to undermine the business, and he's working for the government and gets intel on them and finds some, like, Marxist pamphlets under the bed. And
oh, that would be some fun, pulpy sci-fi to it, too, yeah.
I'm going to go back, actually, and change my answer, if I may. You're right. Why would he put himself in there? He's a smart guy.
Apparently not.
You know, John made the suggestion of you flesh out the emotional connection with the family. That makes perfect sense, because why do they care? But maybe his lab isn't... You don't make it to where his lab is like a shutdown thing, and maybe he lets his kid work with him, And then his kid's the idiot who goes in there and tries to teleport himself, and now it's him trying to save his kid because it's a kid fly.
Ooh, it could become kind of a Pet Cemetery type of thing.
Yeah.
It's my son, but something's not right.
Ooh, I like that.
What gets lost? Does the soul not transfer?
The kid kills a few people before the father has to put him down.
Maybe the cat's soul is inside the kid.
I'd definitely become a killer then.
There was a killer cat in Pet Sematary.
Exactly. Yeah, and the kid was very sad about the cat. Yeah, we could also bring back that character, though, like, oh, wasn't a lot of history on that road. That guy, he could have been in this movie. Sometimes driving is better than teleporting.
Teleporting's the communist way.
You know, it's not the destination, it's the journey. You know, I don't know.
Man, this episode is just chock full of impressions. I love it. Ian, you realize that movie was supposed to take place in Maine, right? So is that your Maine accent? I feel like you could do better than that.
I should be able to do better than that. That's all I can do.
You've been away for too long, man.
Yes, I think that's why. Yeah.
No, dropping a Maine accent is always a good thing.
I know what you're thinking. Sometimes dead is better.
You gotta go up in the county.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded a little too, like, southern to me.
Yeah.
Mixed with some kind of, like, old lady New Yorker. Little Audrey Hepburn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was just doing.
Be on the lookout for part 2 of this discussion, where we get into 1986's remake of The Fly. You've reached the end of this episode of The Screen Companion. Thank you for listening.